Okay, let's take a quick look at where nephrons are located in the kidney. I mentioned in the previous lecture segment that certain nephrons had their nephron loops located in the medulla where they made the medulla salty. There are other nephrons that do not do this. In this image, we see both kinds of nephrons. This pair of arteries and veins represents the boundary between the cortex, which is out here, and the medulla, the middle, which is down here. And as you can see, the two different kinds of nephrons, one has a nephron loop that extends deep into the medulla. This one is actually working to make the medulla salty. And the other one has a nephron loop which doesn't extend into the medulla at all, or much at all. This is called a cortical nephron. And the majority of the nephrons in our kidney are cortical nephrons. These are the ones that are focused primarily on sorting the useful and the waste substances from the plasma and putting the useful substances back in. A number of specialized nephrons called juxtamedullary. Juxta means next to, medullary means the medulla, have this nephron loop which extends deep down in. Now, since this is another view of nephrons and nephron structure, I'm going to go through the parts with you again, just so that you can see where they are. So starting with the juxtamedullary nephron, we have here the glomerular capsule, which is surrounding that capillary bed known as the glomerulus. It's catching the fluid that filters out of the plasma, which then passes into the proximal convoluted tubule, then into the nephron loop. In this case, the nephron loop goes deep into the medulla, and then it comes back into the cortex and goes into the distal convoluted tubule, which then connects with the collecting duct. In this nephron, we have the glomerular capsule right here, which connects to the proximal convoluted tubule, which goes into the nephron loop, and then into the distal convoluted tubule, and then into the collecting duct. So as I mentioned, the ones that have a nephron loop that go into the medulla are there to make the medulla salty. The nephrons, the cortical nephrons, which have shorter nephron loops, are really just doing the filtration and the sorting. You'll notice that the blood vessels, the capillaries surrounding the nephron are different. Out in the cortex, we have capillaries that are all kind of a mess that look like a net. But you'll notice that the capillaries that extend into the medulla around the nephron loop are arranged in more of a parallel fashion. And when we talk about the renal blood supply in a moment, we'll talk about why those are different and how they serve different purposes in the renal circulation.